Good morning. Good morning and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Cultural Coast. I'm Reverend Theresa Feberts, and I'm just so happy that you're here with me in my home and that I've been invited into your home or into your backyard or wherever you happen to be sitting in the moment. This is, sorry, we've got a little feedback in the room. This is our 10th week of love streaming, and I'm very excited about that. And we continue to find ways to connect with one another, which is just really important during this time of physical distancing, but certainly not social distancing. Certainly, we want to continue to remain open and connected heart to heart. And boy, that really happened for me this morning as I was preparing for this time for us to be together. I was here in my living room. I want you to know, Bobby and I clean our house when you come over on Sunday mornings, well, on Saturday evening and Sunday mornings. And so this morning I was finishing up. I had turned on my music and I lit a candle and I lit the incense. And I was cleaning and clearing the space, again, getting ready for us to be together. And then I sat in meditation and I was just filled with gratitude. Just absolutely filled with gratitude and had a tear rolling down my cheek as I listened to actually the first music that I ever meditated with, because that's how I began my spiritual practice, was meditating with an instrumental track. And I had an overwhelming sense of appreciation for my journey, the journey that's brought me to this moment. I found New Thought and Science Mind particularly in 1992, and I cried through every service there in the beginning. I cried through every service. I cried at the message. I cried at the readings. I cried during the music. I cried through every class that I took in the beginning, and something was happening. I was cracking open. That hard-earned shell around my heart was breaking loose. And I had a deep awareness of that this morning. And I also recognize that that process continues for me. And I suspect it continues for you. Now, this month, this entire month, the Centers for Spiritual Living, our global theme is listening to the heart. And I think this is a perfect time for us to be really deepening that skill of connecting to our intuitive nature, to our feeling nature, and to be moving from that place. Mother Theresa said, and I shared this quote last week, God speaks in the silence of the heart. Listening is the beginning of prayer. God speaks in the silence of the heart, and listening is the beginning of prayer. So let us begin our time together with a moment of silence this morning as we open our hearts and our minds and bring ourselves present to this very moment. Please join me. I speak a moment of blessing upon this time that we spend together this morning. I speak a blessing for our hearts and our minds to gently and easily open, to be receptive to the presence of unconditional love, creative intelligence, wisdom, and most importantly, to that inner stirring, that sense of true self, higher self, a yearning, an urge, a calling within. I affirm for each one of us an awakening, a deeper awareness and understanding of who and what we are. A clarity in listening to what wants to be known in, as, and through us. And I give great thanks for all the blessings that have happened before this moment and for the acknowledgement that this is a powerful creative moment. And so claim for yourself right here and right now an intention for this morning. Mine is to be a place of peace, of love, and of truth. My personal truth that I share. And for this moment, I'm grateful. And in advance, I'm grateful for the next. And so it is. So, let us now, with our open hearts and minds, greet our musical guest this morning, which is none other than Fairy Elaine Silver. Welcome, Elaine.
Hi, everybody. This song is called Breathe Deeply, and some of you know that I used to travel around a little bit and support Alan Cohen in his workshops, and so this song Breathe Deeply came out of the titles of 4 of his books. And let me see here. So it's Take a Deep Breath of Life, Dare to Be Yourself, Joy is My Compass, and Riches of the Spirit. I didn't use Are You as Happy as Your Dog, but it's Breathe Deeply. And so I'm going to invite everybody to inhale, then exhale, and inhale, and exhale again. Keep going. We'll do this consciously. And then if you want, you can sing along with me on the chorus. The words are just breathe deeply, breathe deeply, breathe deeply, breathe deeply. Breathe deeply. Breathe deeply. Breathe deeply. Breathe deeply. Oh yeah. Take a deep breath of life. Dare to be yourself. Follow love, follow bliss. Joy can be your compass, where you can breathe deeply. Breathe deeply. Breathe deeply. Breathe deeply. Believe in your heart. Open up and be part of the consciousness of the universe, of the gratefulness that we live on earth, where we can breathe deeply. Breathe deeply. Breathe deeply. Breathe deeply. We are one. Yes, we are one. We are daughter. We are Son. We are Father and Mother. We are children of each other. I am healed. It's in the field. It's truth revealed. It's what I know and feel. These are riches of the Spirit. It's the one voice. You can hear it when you breathe deeply. Breathe deeply. Breathe deeply. Breathe deeply. Breathe. Thank you.
Thank you, Elaine. My reading today, this reading is from the original Science of Mind textbook published in 1926. There's two meditations here. The first one on page 251 is called Be Still and Know. Be still and know that I am God. I am still in thy presence. I am quiet and peaceful, for I put my trust in thee. A great stillness steals over me, and a great calm quiets my whole being as I realize thy presence. The heart knows of thee, O Most High within. It is still in thy presence, and it puts its whole confidence in thee alone. In thy presence I am still. The second meditation is from page 253. It's called I Went into a Mountain. And the metaphysical meaning of mountain is high thought, higher consciousness. I went into a mountain. I have discovered a secret place within, where the thought goes into a mountain, high above the din of the world. I have found in this mountain a place of peace and rest, a place of joy and comfort to the heart. I have found that the secret place of God is within my own soul. I will listen for thy voice. That is what we're talking about today, listening for the voice of God within. And we're ready for another song from Alain.
Okay. Hi, everybody, again. So, this is the song that I just wrote in the past few days, but I had set an intention to write this way back in the late 90s. I have a friend named Beth Nolan, who is a wonderful massage therapist and workshop leader. She does lots of different things, and she teaches yoga and chanting and meditation. She's a total package. Well, after one of the massages one day, she said an expression, and I wrote it down, and I had intended then to write the song, and it finally came out. So she said, pray, do the work, and watch the miracles. And then I added the word occur, because work and occur sort of rhyme. So here it is, pray and do the work. Pray and do the work, pray then do the work. Pray, work, and then watch the miracles occur. Pray and do the work, pray then do the work. Pray, work, and then watch the miracles occur. I set my intention and put my attention on my intention without any tension. Pray and do the work. Pray, then do the work. Pray, work, and then watch the miracles occur. Pray and do the work. Pray, then do the work. Pray, work, and then watch the miracles occur. Pray, work, and then watch the miracles occur. Listen to your heart and hear your inner wisdom. Look into your mind and see with inner vision. Listen to your heart and hear your inner wisdom. Look into your mind and see with inner vision. Look into your heart and hear your inner wisdom. Look into your mind and see with inner vision. Pray and do the work. Pray, then do the work. Pray, work, and then watch the miracles occur. Pray, work, and then watch the miracles occur.
Thank you, Elaine. I love having you with us. So thank you for being here this morning. And I'm seeing on the comments here that our music's better, or the sound is better this morning. So thank you, God, and thank you, Bobby. So this week, I was watching a news clip. I just turned on my phone and I was getting caught up on the news, and I saw this clip, and man, it ignited in me a 2-syllable, very loud swear word. Bam, there it was. And quickly, right after that, followed tears, crying, not just slow tears, crying. And I heard very clearly, you asked for this. You asked for this. And I have made a commitment to doing this inner work. And I can clearly see that I still have work to do. And maybe we all have some peeling and some deeper layers to go through. As I shared earlier, the theme for the Centers for Spiritual Living, our global theme this whole month, is listening to the heart. And this week specifically was called The Great Work of Your Life. And it was geared towards, and of course they wrote these before the pandemic, and it was geared towards really our careers and doing meaningful work and having a purpose and all of that. And while I resonate with that concept and that idea of, you know, we each have a unique expression that is coming through us, and that we have our work to do in the world, I felt a little challenged by just sticking only to the idea of work or career right now. We have, the last I saw, we have 36 million Americans unemployed right now, many because of the pandemic. And maybe they're listening this morning, and maybe they're looking for guidance. And maybe you are one of them that's looking for a new job, that's thinking, well, maybe it's time to redesign my life. And you're looking deeper, and you're looking for guidance and for ideas. And that's great. And I hope I have something for you. But it's, again, it would be something external, but it would trigger something internal maybe. And what's going on for me personally is I'm hearing and seeing and reading all this conflicting news, all the news reports, the statistics, the advice coming at us from all different directions, right? Some say stay hunkered down, and others say open back up. And I feel like that is part of the equation. That's part of what I want to talk about this morning, because my ministry, for me to feel satisfied, needs to be relevant. It needs to be relevant to what I'm dealing with in the moment. And I'm making the assumption that many of you are dealing with the same thing. So my topic morphed to listen to your heart and find your authentic power. Because there is something within us that is trying to get our attention. And when we listen up and allow that to move through us, it is unstoppable. And it's exactly what the world needs too. There's an internal compass, a guidance system within us. And while it is grand to ponder ideas like, what is my purpose? Why am I here? What is mine to do? Some of us this week are trying to decide whether or not to get our hair cut because the salons have opened. And that's reality. That was my reality this week. You know, so whether or not what you're pondering is you're trying to decide what you're going to do with your life, or you're trying to figure out if it's time to go to the barber or the salon because it's open, we need to go within. We need to ponder these ideas carefully, thoughtfully, and I'm assured that all the answers lie within us. All those answers, the issues of our lives, whatever it may be, the issue du jour, whatever it may be. So truly, I am pondering, or have pondered earlier in the week, getting my hair cut. And it was an opportunity for me to go deep. And now I know I can hear you. Some of you are laughing at this, but true story, right? True story. This is what's happening for me. So I'm thinking, I get a call, you know, the hair salon's open, and I'm thinking, do I need a haircut? Yes. Yeah, I do. But really, do I? So I sat with that, and I had all these ideas swirling around. Is it vanity? Am I being vain to think that I have to get my hair cut right now? Really, is it needed, necessary? This is not business as usual right now. Do I need to look like it's business as usual? And no is where my compass landed. No, I do not. And it is not, and I'm very clear about this, it is not about fear. It is not about mistrust. I've had that same hairdresser for 31 years. I love her. I trust her. She's willing to get me in first thing in the morning, literally before the salon even opens. I mean, what is there to fear? It's not that. It's not that. I read another article that 2 days ago, the city of Sarasota postponed reopening. I don't know what their date was, but they've postponed it until next Friday, and they've got a meeting coming up on Monday, tomorrow. They're still suggesting that people wear masks, and they still have not opened Lido Beach, which is within the city limits. The county, however, the beach is open. It's been open. So what is a good citizen to do, right? How do we make our decisions with that? I think there's confusion in every direction that I look. There's finger pointing, there's accusations, there's suspicions. So who do we trust, right? Do we follow the CDC? Do we get our reports from the White House, from the governor's office, from our local mayor, many of whom are on different pages there? And so it's not just about my hair, but it's about you. It's about you. It's about our spiritual community, because the conversations have started around, when are you reopening? And, our state has said that we could have been open last month, right? Florida has said that churches, houses of worship, can gather together. And so we're not allowed to be in groups of 10 or more, but if you're a mega church, you can do it. So how do you make a decision in that? What do we base our decisions on? And there's plenty of information circulating. So it's not about that even. It's not about, well, I don't have the information, but it's confusing. It's confusing. It's conflicting. I had a Zoom meeting earlier this week with 10 Science of Mind ministers, Centers for Spiritual Living ministers, 10 of us that got together on this Zoom call. And that was the question, what are your plans for reopening? And of the 10, we were on a spectrum, right? From one who has a very concrete plan, they're opening July 1st, and it's detailed. It's fabulous, it's very detailed, to one person who said, I don't care if it's New Year's Eve. We're not opening until I'm comfortable, until there's an inner feeling in me that is one of confidence and clarity. So you see, we're everywhere on the spectrum, right? And these are important decisions. These are decisions that we're all looking at on a moment by moment, really a daily basis right now. It's decisions about our physical health. It's decisions about our economic health, our emotional, our mental, and our spiritual health. And of course, that's my domain, right? The spiritual health. And I really believe that when we are in a place where we put our power outside of ourselves and we're seeking decisions and powers and answers outside of ourselves, we're in trouble. We're in deep trouble, because that is not where our true self lies. That is not where our higher self is. That is not where our true calling is found. They're within. And you know, what's very interesting is in our culture, we're taught at a very young age to listen to everybody but ourselves, right? So many of us are learning this at all adulthood. We're learning to listen to ourselves within. Last week, I shared this quote from the Declaration of Principles, the Science of Mind Declaration of Principles. And it reads, "We believe in the direct revelation of truth through our intuitive and spiritual nature, and that everyone may become a revealer of truth who lives in close contact with the indwelling spirit or the indwelling God." We believe in direct revelation of truth, intuitive and spiritual nature, and that any one of us has access to that when we live in close contact. So if you're seeking answers to questions, if you're seeking truth, you must be living in close contact with God. You must be listening, right? Paying attention. And isn't that what the example of Jesus was, and Mohammed? And did you know that the Dalai Lama actually prays and meditates at least 5 times a day? I mean, at least 5 hours a day. 5 hours every day. And he says that when he's busy, when his schedule is really, really packed, he meditates longer. True story. So we can do this. And I believe we must do this. And I believe this is the time for us to do this, because all our answers that we're seeking are within us. So from the bigger questions of who am I, what is my nature, what is mine to do, the answer is within. And I do love pondering those big questions. And my favorite book on that topic is this one. Parker Palmer, Let Your Life Speak. Fabulous, fabulous book. And in here, he says, before you tell your life what you intend to do with it, listen. Listen for what it intends to do with you. Before you tell your life what you intend to do with it, listen to what it intends to do with you. We have infinite, eternal, profound, creative intelligence and wisdom within us, unconditionally loving and supportive guidance within us. Parker Palmer is an educator, a Quaker educator, and he says we're not raw material here to be formed, that we've arrived here with gifts and talents, and that we must pay attention. You know, this isn't a new idea. Ancients talked about this, and all our contemporary spiritual teachers talk about this. Thomas Merton calls it the true self with the capital T and S, the true self. Quakers have a phrase called inner light, or that of God. That of God. And the humanist tradition used the words identity and integrity. Identity and integrity. I love the word integrity. To me, integrity is an alignment with the divine within, an alignment with who I was born to be. You know, since I was a young girl, my family would say that I wear my heart on my sleeve. You know, in other words, that I had deep feelings about things, and they were open. They were very apparent. They were easy to see, and that wasn't seen as a good thing necessarily in my family. But I had deep feelings about unity and oneness and fairness and equality and inclusion. And I was emotional as a child, and I still am. Ask my children. I still am as an adult. And I have not, you know, I haven't strayed far even in my careers. As a realtor, I worked specifically with first-time housing, with first-time home buyers and affordable housing. And that was my niche. And so I feel like equipping and empowering others with tools to enhance their lives, to expand their life experience is at the heart of who I am. That's my vocation. And I believe that it will manifest itself in every role or any role that I play. Parker Palmer, in his book, says, our deepest calling is to grow into our authentic selfhood. Our deepest calling is to grow into our authentic selfhood. It's a Quaker phrase, let your life speak. Let your life speak. And one of my favorite concepts is living from the inside out. Let my life speak. Let it guide me. The word vocation is about listening. The word vocation, the Latin root is voice. It's not a calling. I mean, it's not a goal. It's a calling. It's something for us to tap into, to hear, to resonate with, and to allow. And again, we're not taught that as children. We're taught authority is outside of us. Truth is outside of us. Ernest Holmes taught this. This is what the science mind is about, is that we exist so that the divine givingness of life, that it may come forward through us, through our feeling, through a fire and an imagination and a creativity, he says, so that can be expressed as us, in us, through us. That the Spirit comes to us and through us with new and fresh creativity, unlike anybody else. So Ernest Holmes said, you need not ask others. You need not ask what others have done or how they have done it, but be yourself. Be yourself and express life as you find it. Never imitate. Trust the self. And he says, find the self in God, and we'll find God in the self. And I think that this is our personal way of evolution. You know, it's our own personal growth, a way of evolution. And the other book that I was utilizing this week as I was preparing was The Seed of the Soul, Gary Zukav. And this book was one of the first books I read, I think, on my spiritual journey, and in the early 90s. And he talks about this concept of authentic empowerment, where again, the authority is not outside of ourself. It's in alignment with Emerson's self-reliance, right? And Emerson's talking about there a reliance upon the God within. You know, he says we don't need the police to tell us what's right or wrong. Bobby says when he was a child, he was taught that his conscience knew right from wrong. So where is that? Where is that? Where's that inner police officer? That conscience? Yeah. It's beyond our five senses. And this is what Gary Zukav is talking about. It's beyond our five senses. We are, in fact, multi-sensory people, right? And when we come to a place of understanding that and relying upon that, utilizing that wisdom within, listening within, that's our personal evolution, which in fact connects with the evolution of humanity. That's what Science of Mind teaches, that evolution is driven by this inner urge within each one of us to grow and to do and to be a greater expression of the divine, to come into alignment with who and what we are, to recognize the creative intelligence within us and allow it to unfold itself from within us. It's about listening to the heart and feeling and not being afraid of our emotions, but feeling into our emotions. Last week, I shared this quote from Ernest Holmes. I believe that the heart of the universe, the essence of reality or God, the living spirit, is the essence of pure feeling. The essence of pure feeling. I believe that feeling is back of every creative impulse, whether in God or man. That's evolution, isn't it? Whether in God or man. And he calls this with capital O-I, original impulse. It's the original impulse of creation, and it's working through each one of us all the time. Should we be listening and not blocking its movement? Gary Zukav is talking then again about these five senses, and that every action is a cause and has an effect. And of course, we know that in Science of Mind. And we see that. We can see that. We can see the results of our intentions. I mean, you know, I'm at a place with this teaching that I know that I know that I know that I know. I've demonstrated to myself over the years to where I know that when I set an intention, when I hold something in consciousness, when I am in prayer and doing spiritual mind treatment, I am connecting with the law that says yes all the time. It says yes every time, to the degree that I'm aware of it, to the degree that I'm practicing, to the degree that I'm believing and connecting with my feelings about whatever it is that I'm treating. We can see with our senses that rage kills, and we can see with our senses that kindness nurtures. Right? We know these things at a very deep level. So evolutionary, a stick can be either a tool or a weapon. Yes? And we get to choose. We get to choose how we use that stick. We can choose from a lower idea, a lower belief, and use it as a weapon. A lower belief of separation, that the universe isn't friendly. And then we have a weapon in our hand. Or we can use it from a higher cause as a tool to help create a world that works for everyone, as a lever to create motion. Yeah. So this crisis, a job, whether to get a haircut or to wear a mask, we choose. And where do we make our choice from? That's the question. Do we get caught up in the news? Or do we take the information and go within? Okay, the salons are open. Do I need to get a haircut? Take it inside. Let that divine authority empower all your decisions, every choice. I believe that the time is so ripe for us to get this, to get what Zukav calls the higher order of logic and understanding, which comes from the heart, which comes from the heart. Ernest Holmes says that God is always tapping at the walls of our heart. We need to be listening, right? We need to be listening. There is a barometer within us. There is a barometer within us, compass, a guide. You know, we've been having these Zoom gatherings, a social time, right after the message here on Sunday morning. So it's somewhere right around 12 o'clock. I send out the link, and you can come on and we can have a conversation. And a couple weeks ago, we were having this very conversation about physical distancing and wearing a mask or you know, having the distance, you know, following the rules, and then being upset when other people didn't, you know. And so it was a really rich conversation. And someone in the group said, you know, when I judge others, I don't feel good. That's listening. That's an individual listening to their inner barometer and having a confidence and an answer to a question that came from within. I wear my mask. I physical distance. But when I stay out of judgment of others, I'm in a place of peace. I'm in a place of love. And that resonates with me so deeply. And so I think that they seem like minor questions, but the answers can be very profound and liberating when we're seeking the advice and the authority from within. When we close the doors to our feeling, when we close the door to our feelings, we close the door to the vital currents that energize and activate our thoughts and actions. That's from the seat of the soul. Don't close the door to your heart, to your feelings. Now is the time to be listening deeply. So I encourage you to do that. You know, listening deeply was how we knew, and I shared this a few weeks ago, it's how we knew when to open the doors for this spiritual community. It is how we will know when to reopen the doors to this spiritual community. It's how I pray that you will know when the time is right to join us, or to get your hair cut, or whether to wear a mask, or what you're going to do with your whole life that's ahead of you, right? That's where our power comes from. And this I know for you, is that there is no obstruction. There is nothing that blocks that beautiful, divine, easy, graceful flow of God within, coming from the unformed into form by means of you. Blessings on your journey. Thank you. We're going to have another wonderful song by Alain now. There.
Tell them we're having some technical difficulties.
It looks like we're having a moment of technical difficulty, so hang in there with us just a moment. Just a moment. On. All right. Well, it seems like we've lost Elaine for a moment. So let's go ahead and have our time of giving. And I so appreciate that you continue to support this ministry, that you continue to support us so we can continue to support the musicians like Elaine that are coming to us from their homes, and other people and organizations that are doing good work in the world. I got an update from Kathy Bryant, the Director of Operations from Streets of Paradise, who we have tithe to, and they're continuing to serve approximately 200 homeless people every single night here in Sarasota. And to our knowledge at the moment, there isn't anyone else who's doing that. You know, many of the shelters closed their doors during the pandemic, which made the homelessness crisis even worse. So we are continuing to stay close with Kathy, and they do have continuing needs, and we will, we're actually meeting, our Board of Trustees is meeting tomorrow, and in conversation about how we can continue to help. So right now, Evan is going to be posting our 4 ways that you can give. And in the description also, if you're on YouTube, that information is available. And if you are watching us on Facebook, that information is available up under more at the description. And then again, she's posting it live right now. And we also have a affirmation that we've been reading. Come join me, honey. An affirmation that Bobby and I have been reading, and we're going to continue with that this morning. And if you just continue to listen as you're preparing your gift and thinking about supporting this ministry, do what we're talking about this month. Listen to your heart. Listen deeply to what you're being called to give, how you're being called to give, and that type of thing. You can't go wrong with that. I do believe it. So we're going to read this Ernest Holmes beautiful affirmation or poem or prayer about abundance. Good and more good is mine.
An ever-increasing good is mine.
There is no limit to the good which is mine.
Everywhere I go, I see this good, I feel it, I experience it.
It crowds itself around me, flows through me, and expresses itself in me and multiplies itself around me.
I receive the gift of life and pass it on. I receive the gift of love and pass it on. I receive the gift of joy and pass it on. I receive all good and pass it on. I receive the gift of life and pass it on. I receive the gift of love and pass it on. I receive the gift of joy and pass it on. I receive all good and pass it on.
Well, I'm going to keep going with my announcements because I don't see Elaine back up on the screen yet, but I'm holding out for that. We continue to have opportunities to connect with one another. Tuesday nights, we're doing what I've called a prayer circle, and that prayer circle is simply a Zoom get together. It's just an hour. It starts at 7 o'clock on Tuesday evenings. I send the link out every Tuesday, sometime Tuesday morning, afternoon. It's a great time for us to support one another. And we had a great demonstration that was shared this week, and that was fun. And then on Thursday nights, Julie Birch is leading a meditation group, and that has just been phenomenal, just really wonderful. And that is at 6:30 for an hour. And I have a new class coming, and it's going to start on the 27th of this month, May 27th in the evening. It's going to be via Zoom, and it's spiritual principles and practices. And so for those of you that are curious about knowing the principles, the universal principles that make up this philosophy, this teaching of science of mind, it's a good class for you. Or if you're looking to deepen your spiritual practice, this is a great class for you. It is an accredited Science Mind course. So if you're looking to go on to become a licensed spiritual practitioner, like both Bobby and Elaine are, then this class qualifies for that. It's a foundational class. And big news that I forgot to put in my first announcement on this is that all our CSL Cultural Coast members get 20% off the class. So if you're interested, you do get 20% off. And that information, details of that information is on Facebook, and it's on our website, and it's on our emails that are coming out weekly. So with that, I'm going to go off the screen because Elaine came back on. I'll post the link for our social gathering while Elaine is entertaining you. Thanks.
Okay, I don't know what happened. I sat here, so I'm so happy I'm going to get to share this last song. It's called Soul to Soul. And some of you know that a long time ago I was married to an oldies DJ. And it was a 7-year process. And as a result of that 7-year process, I have somehow embodied doo-wop. So I have a little doo-wop metaphysical song for you. And it's called Soul to Soul. Just like Gary Zukav says. There's a perfect flow of love that writes the world. There's a perfect flow of joy that invites the world. And there's a perfect flow of peace I now behold, soul to soul. And if you want to sing on that part, you're welcome to. It happens a lot of times, like this. Soul to soul. There's perfection in the oneness that I feel. There's reflection in the process as I heal. And there's a perfect flow of love I now behold, soul to soul. Soul to soul, heart to heart, mind to mind. Soul to soul, heart to heart, peace is mine. And there's a perfect flow of love that resides in me. There's a perfect flow of joy that is guiding me. And there's a perfect flow of peace I now behold, soul to soul. There's a perfect flow of love that unites the world, and there's a perfect flow of joy that delights the world, and there's a perfect flow of peace I now behold, soul to soul, yeah. Soul to soul, heart to heart, mind to mind. Soul to soul, heart to heart, peace is mine. And there's a perfect flow of love that resides in me. There's a perfect flow of joy that is guiding me. And there's a perfect flow of peace I now behold, soul to soul. Soul to soul. Soul to soul, soul to soul. And so it is.
All right. Thank you, Elaine. Thanks very much. I'm glad we could get you back on. I don't know what happened, but I appreciate you getting back on with us. Don't forget, everybody, if you'd like prayer support, you can email prayer@cslculturalcoast.org, or you can get in touch with me or Elaine or Tom Dieter, and we'd be happy to pray with you. And let's close with Let It Shine. There's a light at the center can light up the world just like the sun. There's a flame within us that can light our way. It can burn away the darkness of a troubled day. Let it shine, let it shine. Let your light shine. Let it shine, let it shine. Let your light shine. Whenever you see darkness, you've got to know that the light is within you. Everywhere you go, whatever you are facing, whatever's on your mind, you can help illuminate it. Let your light shine. Let it shine, let it shine. Let your light shine. Let it shine, let it shine. Let your light shine. Let it shine, let it shine. Let your light shine. Let it shine, let it shine. Let your light shine. Let your light shine out there, everybody. Listen to your heart.
See you soon on Zoom.